Hello, this is Dr. Hobbolt, and I'm going to help you with this problem. It says, Kieran and Claire live 24 miles away from each other along a rail trail. A rail trail is a long, flat trail built along old railway lines. The trails have very little change in elevation, which makes it reasonable to maintain a constant speed while walking, running, or cycling along the trail. One Saturday, Kieran and Claire start walking toward each other along the trail at 8 a.m. with a plan to have a picnic when they meet. Kieran walks at a speed of 3 miles per hour, while Claire walks 3.4 miles per hour. After 1 hour, how many miles apart will they be? And then the next part of the problem says, make a table showing how far apart the two friends are after 0 hours, 1 hour, 2 hours, and 3 hours. So we can actually make a little math picture to think about this problem. So on your whiteboard, go ahead, draw a straight line, kind of like this. So give yourself plenty of room. So what this line's going to represent is the 24 miles apart that Kieran and Claire are at the start. So let's think about in 1 hour how far each person is going to run or walk. So if Kieran walks at a speed of 3 miles per hour, then in 1 hour, how many miles has he traveled? Well, he'll have gone 3 miles. So this is after 1 hour. And Claire, how far does she go in 1 hour? If Claire walks 3.4 miles per hour, then how far will she have traveled after 1 hour? Well, she'll have gone 3.4. So we can kind of show how far they're traveling like this, maybe. So the question becomes, how far apart are they? So they were originally 24 miles apart, but then Kieran closed that gap by 3 miles, and Claire closed it by 3.4 miles. So what's left here between them after 1 hour would be the 24 miles total minus what they both walked. So in other words, it would be 24 miles minus Kieran walked 3 miles and minus Claire walked 3.4 miles. So when you put that in your calculator, or if you work it out by hand, that'll tell you how far apart they are after 1 hour. So we would do 24 minus 3 minus 3.4. That would mean they're 17.6 miles apart after 1 hour. And I'm going to put that in my table. And at the start, at 0 hours, they're 24 miles apart. So now let's think about 2 hours. So if Kieran has another hour to walk, how much farther is he going to go? Well, if he's walking 3 miles per hour, he's going to make it another 3 miles. So that means he would have walked 6 miles total, because he walks 3 in an hour. And then how far is Claire going to go if she has another 1 hour? Claire would go 3.4 more miles, which means she would have traveled 6.8 miles total. So after 2 hours, so I'll label that, after 2 hours, how far apart are they? Well, this would be the distance between them after 2 hours. So Kieran walked 6 miles total, and Claire would have walked 6.8. So it would be just like before, 24 minus 6 minus 6.8 miles. Or if we want to think about it in relation to the distance we already found before, we know that it would be that 17.6 miles apart that they were after 1 hour, minus the additional 3 miles that Kieran walked, minus the additional 3.4 miles that Claire walked. Either way, we'll get to our correct answer. And what's that going to be? Let me put it in my calculator real quick. 17.6 minus 3 minus 3.4. We should get 11.2 miles. Finally, to answer the last part of the table, we want to go 1 more hour. So in 1 more hour, how far is Claire going to go? She walked 6.8 miles in 2 hours. So in 3 hours, how far would she go? If she walks another 3.4 miles. Well, that would be 6.8 plus the 3.4. So Claire would have walked 10.2 miles total. And Kieran would have made it another 3 miles, so he would have walked 9 miles total. So the distance between them now, let me clean up my page a little bit. We could think of that distance as being 11.2 minus Kieran walked that additional 3 miles, Claire walked another 3.4 miles. Or, like we did before, we could say 24 minus the 9 miles total that Kieran walked, minus the 10.2 miles that Claire walked. Either way, you'll get the correct final entry for the table. So hopefully the diagram we used here makes sense. If you think you have a better way to show this problem, I'd love to see that and give you some hero points for it. So let me know if you think you have a better way to think about this problem. And otherwise, thanks for working this problem with me, and I hope it'll help you be successful.